All right, I'm going to show you guys how to do the homework 8 in class assignment. I'm going to start with, let's see, this part right here. And this is in the metric system. So I'm going to go into my settings, make sure everything is appropriate. So millimeters. I'm going to turn on my grid. So I'm all set up. I'm just going to start by making this center cylinder right here. So I'm going to put that on the front plane. And I'm just going to plop in. I'm going to put in 2 circles here. I'm going to make these dimensions appropriate. So it looks like this right here has a diameter of 20. So change that to 20. And this one right here has a diameter of, what's it at? 38. All right, now I'm just going to extrude that. I'm going to actually flip it around because I want it uh, going out the back, just for my preference. And this is going to be 70 millimeters long. So there we go. Now I need to add on these, where are they at? So under fillet here, you have the chamfer. Add that on here. I need to add it there and also right there. And based on this text right here, it is 3 millimeters at a 45-degree angle. So we'll add that on there. And now we have our centerpiece. So this is what it should have right now. For this next part, it's going to be easy. It's easier for me to just look at these dimensions right here and make a reference plane and go based off of that. I tried going based off of the bottom part of this piece and working my way up, but for me it's just so much easier to get a reference plane based off of these numbers subtracted from each other. So, for example, this right here, the bottom of the cylinder is lined up also with the bottom of the cylinder because the entire length of the cylinder is 70, the entire length of this is 26, and they're both lined up right here, which translates over here. So the top of the cylinder from this rib, uh, or from the where it comes out on this part right here is 5, and then the thickness of this right here is 8. So if we add this together, it's 13, which means that this should be coming up 8 millimeters from 13 millimeters at the bottom of this. So essentially, we're just going to create a reference plane in the middle area where this is going to need to be at, which is going to be 13 millimeters from the bottom of the overall cylinder. Uh, Hopefully that made sense to you. If not, I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to create a reference geometry. I'm going to use the bottom of this. We're going to flip it around. And it's going to need to be 13 millimeters up, like that. And now I'm going to add in a circle for reference right here. I'm going to make it appropriate dimensions, which is right here, 150. And then I'm going to change this to be a construction line. So I click on it and click it to be construction geometry. And now I'm going to create this cylinder piece right here. So I'm going to line it up and see where it snaps on right there. I'm going to pull it out, make a big circle, make a smaller circle. And now I'm going to add in the appropriate dimensions. So the dimension for the smaller circle right here, I believe is 8 based off of this. I believe it should be 8 millimeters in diameter. So we'll pop the 8 in. and this should be 12. I got that 12 from right here, this dimension right here. Right, and now I'm just going to take a look at this, and I can now extrude this, except I do not need to extrude it that far, and I also need to extrude it from the mid plane, because technically we're in the middle right here. This should be the middle measurement where we put this reference plane at, which was 13 centimeters or 13 millimeters up, uh, which is half of this total length. So the total length for this is going to be 26, right? So put in 26, and this reference plane is 13 millimeters up. And if we are extruding it in both directions, 13 millimeters, it's going to have an overall length of 26. So that's how I'm doing this. And let's hit OK. Now for this next part, I'm going to create this part right here that connects the smaller cylinder to the bigger cylinder. And I'm going to do so by using the same reference plane. So I can hit sketch and choose that reference plane. I'm going to have it to snap onto the cylinder, snap onto that one, snap onto the cylinder, snap onto that one. Okay. Now I'm going to select them and make them, oh, as I hold control, I'm going to click on this line, then I'm going to click on cylinder, and I'm going to make it tangent. I'm going to do the same for both lines and both cylinders. Just holding control and clicking on the line and the cylinder. So control, click on the cylinder, still holding control, clicking on the line, and selecting tangent. That should be how we want it to be. The problem is this is not a complete sketch right here, so I can't extrude it. So I actually have to trace over these circles right here and go back and edit them so that they are still filled in. So I'm just creating a circle on each of these as the same dimensions that lines up. And now what I can do is go in and trim it. So I'll trim this from the back and I'll also trim this from the top. And it will now make a complete enclosed surface of just this shape right here that we want. So that's really helpful. And now I'm just going to extrude this. And let's see. So we are 13 millimeters up, right? And that's where the bottom of this starts, right here. So we need this to go in this direction, and we need it to go 8 millimeters. And we will hit OK on that. Ta-da! So now we need to add this ribbon, which should be pretty simple. We're going to create a sketch. I'm going to select on this feature manager design tree so I can get a look at the different planes. And the plane that I'm going to want to select looks like the right plane right here. So I'm just going to draw just a line that connects right here and connects out here somewhere. And now I can put in the smart dimension for this. So from here to here, it needs to be 9 millimeters. Get that 9 millimeters from this measurement right here. And from here to here, that needs to be 4. Oh, must have clicked on something wrong. From here to here. Let's see. Oh, it's a midpoint. Okay. I'm going to delete that relation. I don't want that to be a midpoint. I just want it to be coincident with that. So from here to here, ta-da, that is going to be 4 millimeters. Like so. So now we just have this line right here that's just going to help us whenever we use this rib tool. So go over to features, select the rib tool, and it automatically selects the line. And this rib is going to be 8 millimeters right here. So we'll change that to 8. And we're just gonna select OK. And now we pretty much have the general shape of what this should look like. All we have to do is have this equally spaced out 2 more times, which is pretty simple. So all we do is go over here to the linear pattern, and we're going to select circular pattern. And for where we're going to be rotating it about, just choose one of these circles right here. I like to choose the inside circle, for example. And for what we're going to be rotating around, deselect features and faces, and we're going to select the entire body. So we're just going to select this whole body, and it's going to rotate it around 3 times, which is going to overlap over top itself, but it doesn't matter because that's what we need it to do. And then we're going to hit yes, and now this is what your final piece should look like. Hopefully I did this correctly. This is what I think he wants us to do, just based on the dimensions I was given and based on my perception of it. So hopefully this is what he wants us to do. But that's how I did this. Maybe it'll help you do yours. All right, and I'm going to show you guys how to make this piece right here. This is Chapter 9, Hands-on Test Drive 3, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, so Chapter 9, Hands-on Test Drive 3 right here. So I'll pop that to the side, set this back up. Okay. So I'm going to make a new part, and I'm going to go in and make sure that everything is how I want it to be. So the units should be in millimeters, and I'm going to turn my grid on. And I'm going to start by making this front plane. And I'm just going to make a rectangle that's kind of big. Add the dimensions in of that rectangle, which for the length is 995. And for the height, it is 200. Okay. Now I can go ahead and extrude that out. And it's going to have a thickness of 100 millimeters. All right. Now I can go and start working on adding these holes in right here. I'm going to add 2 of the holes on, and then we're just going to pattern those straight across. So I'm just going to drop in a hole right there, or just drop in a circle there. And now I can use the smart dimensions to line it up properly. So first the hole is going to be, it's going to have a diameter of 32. So 32. And the center of that hole is going to be 81 millimeters to the side. And it is going to be 50 millimeters up. Now I can add another circle in. I guess I should line it up actually. So I'll line it up with this one. And I'm going to give it, well, I could actually just make it equal, right? So I'll hit Control on these two, and I'm going to make it equal. The equal radius, and let's see if I can. Should be lined up, but I want to try to add a relation into. So this one should be vertical from it. And then I can go in and add this smart dimension in here to have the specific dimension, which is 75. So I'll add 75 in, and that is how those 2 circles should look. So now we're just going to extrude cut them through. So extrude cut it through. And now we're just going to mirror these straight across. So we will come over to the linear pattern, click on that. And the direction we're going to be going in is to this plane over here. And there are going to be 16 instances of these holes, but we did 2 of the holes, so there's only going to be 8 instances that we're mirroring. So we'll hit 8, and they are going to be 119 millimeters apart. Pop that in there, and ta-da! Now we have all our holes. So now we're going to create the teeth and then mirror the teeth across now. So just going to sketch on this plane again. And we can come in here and we can just kind of make a rough sketch of this. So it's going to be out a little bit, kind of down, kind of over, kind of up again. And we'll add in our smart dimensions. So from here to here, that is 6. Then from here up to here, that is 22. And then this is going to be 11. And then the distance between these 2 points, which is going to be this point, is 23. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensions here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensions here. So now all we need to do is just make this look pretty. So this should be shifted over, right? Should be over here like this. But how are we going to make these equal each other? Well, we can just click on this line while holding control, and this line while holding control, and we'll just make them equal to each other. So that evens all this out, and this now has the appropriate dimensions, so we can cut it. So we'll extrude cut it through, and we have made 1 tooth right there. Now, all we have to do is just recreate that pattern all the way across. So we select the pattern up there, the linear pattern up here, and we're patterning it all the way over here. And there are 33 teeth, and they are going to be, where is it at? 30, they're going to be 30, they're going to be spaced out 30 millimeters. So there's 33 teeth, and they're going to be spaced out 30 millimeters. And now we just select OK. And we have completed this hands-on test drive.